Hi, my name is Shraddha Bista. I'm a registered migration agent, and today I'm going to talk about the limitations on sponsorship when it comes to partner visa. Now, there are basically two rules you need to be mindful of. Rule number one is no more than two sponsorship in a lifetime, and rule number two is the requirement to have a 5 years gap in between any two sponsorship when it comes to partner visa application. Now, let's elaborate these rules. Now, if you are in a situation where you have a partner, whether you are in a de facto relationship or whether you guys are married or whether you are applying for a prospective marriage visa, if you have a partner who is an Australian citizen or permanent resident or eligible New Zealand citizen, you must be thinking of applying for a partner visa. Before you start with the process, please make sure that your sponsor is an eligible sponsor in the sense he or she has met the limitation of maximum 2% and maximum 5 years gap. Let's talk about the 5 years gap to start with. Now, the 5 years you need to be very mindful of the start and end date of the 5 years. The start date is when the previous partner visa application was lodged, and the 5 year ends on the date the sponsorship of the next partner visa application is decided. So you need to be very mindful of the 5 years time which needs to be passed. And please be aware that whether you were previously sponsored by someone, whether you were the applicant, whether you were the main applicant in the partner visa, or whether you are sponsoring someone else, that 5 year time frame needs to pass. And the second rule, which is pretty heartless, is at most a person may only enter into two approved spouse, de facto partner, or prospective spouse sponsorship. It is quite common these days to see people marry or be in a de facto relationship for the third time or even more. But Australian government will only allow you to sponsor two applicants when it comes to partner visa. There are very limited waiver provision available if you want to request for the waiver for this 5 year rule and max 2% rule, and only if there's compelling circumstances affecting the sponsor. Now, there are very limited prescribed rules that falls under this compelling circumstances. For example, death of the previous partner would be considered compelling for you to request for the waiver. Or if there's dependent children on both sponsor and the applicant who needs care. Or if the previous spouse abandoned the sponsor, left the sponsor, and there are kids involved and those kids needs caring. Or if the relationship, if the current third relationship that you want to sponsor is a long-standing relationship. And also you need to prove that the sponsor has ties to Australia and things like that. It has to be very strong, genuine, compelling cases for the waiver to be granted. Partner visa itself is quite expensive if you consider the department fees. And on top of that, it's quite lengthy process as well, with all the hurdles and the requirements and the limitations. So I always encourage you to seek professional help if you want a successful outcome in one go. If you need any help from us, please feel free to give us a call or send us an email. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this was informative for you, and I'll see you next week.